Kirsty TV is about the power of sharing stories that heal ourselves and heal others. My guests share their most intimate stories and lessons learned along the way. Hi guys, it's Kirsty here from Kirsty TV. As you know, I'm a big believer in self-help and learning and growth. And one of the toughest topics that we often learn the most from is grief. The loss of a loved one is something that we are never ready for. And the first guest that started my teaching path on this was Therese, who's a palliative care nurse. She would sit with people at the end of their life, and there were so many things, so many aha moments for not just me, but the crew who were in the room that day when we sat and we interviewed her, and here are some of those.
You have to be careful with grief because it's insidious. And if you don't, after the tears, don't shift it into a joyful grieving, you can go down that slippery slope, and it's very dark.
So how do we do that? If we're at that point where we're grieving, how do you think, from what you've seen people do, they go one or two of those ways?
Mostly it's education on accepting someone's dying and accepting your futility of any intervention you might have with that individual, and that truly the most important thing is being with that loved one.
And then when I was at an event, I met Kendrick, who had lost his daughter, and heard his take on grief.
When we suffer a traumatic loss, we have an unfiltered experience. We see life, everything in life, for exactly what it is. And we see that love is more important than money. We really know what worth truly is, and we know what's irreplaceable and what's precious. And I think when we're fighting for our lives in the beginning of grief, in the beginning of that kind of a loss, it's like we're on life support. And we have to learn self-care. All the tricks, all the ways of coping, all the things we've learned, don't cut it. So we have to practice incredible self-care, self-compassion, and that's what I did.
And then I sat down with Pamela. Pamela had lost her husband in a tragic car accident, but she had found a way to move forward into a new life and to understand the process of grieving and how she could move forward.
And the turning point that you speak of was another day I dropped my daughter off from school, another day that I was sitting in the car, parked on the side of the road, absolutely devastated and sobbing. And it wasn't that I was sobbing that made it a problem. It was that the inner voice in my head was still saying, I can't do this. And the profound pivotal moment was I heard a voice in my head that I say was my God voice. You know, it was not my husband's voice. It was the relationship I have with my God's voice. And very clearly, like a strict parent, said, you have to stop saying that. Super clear. And I was shocked. And I immediately got it.
What did you need to hear when it first happened, or if you were sitting with someone in that first month? What would have helped?
People are afraid to talk with you about it. And at that time, you need more than ever to get to talk about it. You know, they're afraid that this is so big and so awful that if they speak their name to you, you're going to fall apart and they won't know what to do.
So I hope that you learned something from all of my guests who talked today about something that is a heavy-hearted topic. And I hope that you find a way to move forward from your grief. There are over 100 episodes on Kirsty TV, so continue watching by clicking on the play button on any of the screens below. Hear from Therese, a palliative care nurse who has so much wisdom on what we can learn about living from the dying, Pamela and Ken, who lost partners and daughters, and they share how they move forward from grief. I'll see you soon.